Thank you for listening to the Real and Raw podcast. For more information, you can find us at inspiringhope.org.au or join the mailing list. Journey with us as we aim to inspire the hope of Jesus from generation to generation. We are praying for you. Have a blessed day.
Well, welcome back to the couch, Gemma.
Thank you.
How are you finding the couches? Are they comfy for
They
you?
are actually very comfortable.
They are comfortable, and I find this cushion really good. Like it's not too much cushion, but it's not too little.
Yes, because you know, like some cushions make you like do the slide.
Yes.
No, this is keeping me nice and upright.
And you can sit nice and upright in these couches. Oh, they're from Kmart.
Very good.
Oh,
Shout out.
Shout out to Kmart. Oh, how good is Kmart? Yeah, I do have a bit of a funny story that I share with Gemma often. Sometimes when I go to my local Kmart, though, people are a little bit full on. And I've developed this line like, guys, there's enough cheap stuff for everyone to go around. Like we don't all have to push, you know.
Yes.
Yeah, it can get quite, you know, especially if there must be a new product or something coming out. People are there and they're wanting it. It's a bigger Kmart, so, you know. Well, no, my local one is a hub, sorry. When I go, it's a big one. But I wanted to tell them all about our necklaces.
Oh,
Look what I got from Gemma for Christmas. It's a best friend necklace.
Yes.
It makes a sunflower. So, Serena's not here. She likes sunflowers. So how fun is that?
Yes, so
that's
fun.
Very special. So you can still have memories when you get old.
It's like best friends, but make it chic, you know.
Best friends, but make it chic. Yeah, yeah.
It's not two interlocking puzzle pieces.
Yeah.
Yeah. Although when I was little and someone gave me one of those ones that broke, my mum used to go, "Oh no," because then you end up having a fight with that person and never talking to them again. This was the school, you know, the schoolyard.
Yeah.
The first gold mark best friend.
Yes.
Is Goldmark still a thing?
Yeah, I think it's still around.
It's still people shop at Goldmark. There you go. Shout out to Goldmark. So we are going to talk about Journeys with Jesus Motherhood.
Yes.
Yeah. Wow. Well, you're being interviewed. You're being interviewed. I just remember when you first told me you were pregnant, we were at lunch and Bobby Houston was sitting in the cafe.
Yeah.
And I had a Colourhood sister jersey on. Yeah. Yes. Do you remember that?
I do, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
That was a big moment. Very exciting. So, motherhood.
Yeah.
Known you for a long time. You've been a mum for a few years now. So you've got how old are your little...
Yes, my son is 8 and my daughter is 7.
Oh.
So, sassy 7.
Sassy 7. I think it's sassy 4, 5, 6 and 7. I'm finding. Mine hasn't reached 7 yet.
Someone, the sisters out there, could you let us know when it stops? Cause,
yes. When does the sassiness stop? It doesn't. Annabelle's shaking her head. That is not encouraging. Motherhood is such a broad topic, but you're going to hone in on a few specifics this morning. So we have 3 questions that we like to ask on the Real and Raw podcast, which you know because you've already filmed one.
Done it.
Don't give away that we're doing back to back now. They'll all know. It really is.
Previous episode.
Oh, it really is Real and Raw. Did I? Oh, okay. Hey, we're still drinking the same cup of tea though.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think these mugs are 15 years old. I'm pretty sure these were my mum's mugs. Heather's.
Beautiful.
Why don't you do Heather's accent?
Oh, Jeanette, you can't say it to people like that.
You can't tell them about the mugs. Sorry, Mum. So, Journeys with Jesus Motherhood. there are many circumstances that, you know, we have to face in motherhood. But what is a circumstance in your motherhood journey that has deeply tested your faith?
Yes, every minute. No.
All of them. Okay, wrapped it up. And all the girlfriends are saying amen. I'm tired.
Oh gosh. I think the hardest part for me, and yes, every season brings its new challenge and its new things that you need to learn and navigate, but certainly for me, the birth of my first child, just that whole, the pregnancy, the birth, the first several months of life were just extremely unexpectedly challenging for me. I am a very go with the flow kind of person for the most part. My children would probably disagree now, but I feel like for the most part I'm pretty chill,
I agree.
pretty level-headed, can navigate through most things. But it was a very challenging season for me. And unexpectedly so, like I said, because I think I'm quite level-headed, but also because I'm actually pretty good with kids, right? Kids always like me. I babysat occasionally, growing up. I worked at the children's hospital with babies, with sick babies. And
this is a good point.
You know, so by all accounts, I should have been pretty good with the motherhood thing, right?
Yes.
Babies should have been fairly easy. But I just don't think anything can truly prepare you for your own child. And yeah, so just to backstory, so you all don't think that I'm just a whinger that just couldn't handle my baby. Maybe a little bit true, but
no mother thinks that.
I also pregnancy was incredibly hard. I was very ill the whole way. I spent New Year's Eve in hospital. Remember, we had to cancel New Year's Eve year because I was just unwell, and the vomiting, the everything that you could. Okay, that's probably extreme because I know there's a lot of people out there having far worse pregnancies, but for me, being unwell every day and feeling sick every day is a very difficult, and for me too, I'm a pretty good sick person, but I hate vomiting. Sorry, I didn't want to go there on the but I really do hate that. I can cope with most other things, but that is really challenging for me. And so having
nausea.
a 9 month
Is that how
journey.
you say it?
Nausea, yes.
Nausea.
Yes.
What did I say?
Nausea.
I feel like I'm saying it wrong.
Say however you want, as long as you're confident. We learnt that from your brother. Say it confidently, and everyone will believe you. Yeah.
I hate nausea.
Yeah. So
I remember when you were pregnant, because these girls, these OGs, mate, they are the real deal. There is no taking them down. So this girl is at church. She's got this big belly. Yes. I have not been pregnant. And she's leading the service. And in the pre-service meeting, I'm pretty sure she went out to throw up 3 times. But she doesn't say, I can't lead the service. And I just remember looking at you and just gently taking your note cards. I think I'm going to do this for you today, Gemma. I know that you're prepared, but I think I'm just going to sub in for you. And you were you did gladly hand me the note cards, but I didn't, because it is a journey and it is emotional and all the things that come with it. But I thought, this poor girl, she cannot lead the service today.
Yeah, that was a very full-on morning.
Yeah.
So I just, that was a 9-month journey of every day feeling ill. And it's hard not to get into a negative frame of mind when that is happening all the time. And so, that was my lead up to my first child. The birth itself, like I ended up, they were worried about preeclampsia right at the last minute, so they induced me, and that was a wild experience. And, you know,
And
I
again,
vomited while he was being born, like,
and again, you're a nurse
Yes.
of like 10 years at this time, at
that's
least
right.
12 years.
Yeah.
You've got all the experience. You've seen it all before.
Yeah.
So just because
Yeah.
you've seen it, just because the TV commercial shows this nice mum rubbing her belly, this is not the reality for so many people. You're vomiting while he's being born.
It was horrendous. And to the point, like, it felt so traumatic to me that even, I reckon probably only in the last maybe...
I was traumatized by her birth story. I was like, I am never having a child.
Yeah, I think maybe in the last, well, let's be generous and say 12 months, I've only just now, like, don't start to feel sweaty when you see, like, a birth on TV. Like, for so long, it was so traumatic that I was just like, I had to turn the TV off or, like, skip through birth scenes in movies because it was so, like, intense.
Okay, so you know how I suggested that you watch Call the Midwife?
Yeah, don't do that.
I'm
all right now.
Every season has multiple birthing episodes. It's not good for you. Okay.
I'd probably be all right now, but it was a long journey to get past that.
I just thought you'd like it because of the nurse side of things.
Yes,
Yeah,
of
anyway,
course.
sorry, interrupting.
And all the old English culture, like I appreciate
It
that.
is. It's very interesting historically, but anyway,
Sorry,
back
moving
to
on.
the back to the podcast.
Yes. So there's all of that. There's the whole pregnancy, the birth, and then they give you this baby that belongs to you. Like,
That's come out of you.
yes. Like, yeah, you witnessed that happen. And they put it, I actually, like, if you go back to the photos, like, the whole thing was so horrific for me. That if you
my face.
look at the
I'm
live
reliving it.
photos, I know I would never let anyone do this, but if you looked at the live photos from, the moments after where the cord's been cut and they've put him on my chest and I've got this screaming, like he was screaming, which I get because it was a lot. Like I get it. But he's sitting on my chest and like, if you hold down that live photo, you know how you can do that now and it plays like a little movie. Like, I'm just going over and over again, like, I'm sorry, like, I'm so sorry, like, because it was just so awful. Like, and so I'm holding this new fragile little life, just being like, what has just happened? And like, shout out to the beautiful midwives at the hospital because like I specifically went to a hospital that I had previously worked at, which that's a big decision to make because that's a little bit awkward having people very intimate with you that you know. But they were
nothing more intimate than birth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were the best and they were so supportive and so wonderful. But even with all of that support, like, there's so much you don't know or don't realize. Like, people talk to you about the baby blues and, like, they tell you these things, but you don't know until you're in those moments how much your hormones change and how much not being able to control those affects you. Like,
Yeah.
I'm a girl. Hormones are a thing. I've always had hormones. Like, it's been, you've navigated those things. And yes, there's been moments where my brain's been a little bit irrational or whatever, but I can always talk myself around. I can always see through that and be like, you're actually being a little bit full on right now. Like, you could probably tell that, like, what you're feeling is not matching up with what is happening. And usually I can navigate
Maneuver
that
out of
and
it.
realize what's happening. But for so long, for months after, I could not get my brain to think in a rational way. And I don't think, because I don't want to take away, because I know a lot of mums do struggle with, postnatal depression and anxiety. I was not diagnosed with any of those. I don't think that it was that I don't think I was in a state where I was in that. Because, yes, I could still see enough to ask for help.
Yeah.
You know, those sorts of things. I don't think I would say I had postnatal depression or anxiety, but I certainly was teetering on the edge. Like, it was a lot. You know, caring for a baby 24 hours a day who was quite unsettled for the first couple of months of life. And it was really, really hard to just navigate my emotions, navigate the new lack of sleep, the new person that was dependent on me for every single thing. And I have an incredible husband who was super helpful, but he also had to go back to work, you know, so I'm home by myself. And like, I had a couple of people I knew that had just had babies as well, but overall I felt so alone.
Oh, I bet, yeah.
You know, just sitting for days. Like, I would try and get out of my house because that helps. But yeah, man, it was tough.
And managing the expectation,
Yes.
I feel, when you're in a situation like that, of what it should be. Do you think
Yeah.
that's like a large part of the battle? Because I'm
absolutely.
supposed to be out walking around Woolworths with my pram and
Yes.
having my coffee dates with my...
And I think you just feel so not normal because and especially in this age that we live in, right, with social media in your face all the time, the presentation of people's perfect or seemingly perfect lives who are just so in love with their newborn baby. And like, I loved my son, don't get me wrong, I really did, and I really do, but at the same time, you get told that immediately, right, immediately after this child is born, you're supposed to get this rush of hormones that takes over you, and you feel just so incredibly in love with this baby, and like this mother instinct kicks in and all the things, and you'll be fine. And so that's what you're expecting to happen. And when it doesn't, you're like, something's wrong with me. There's something wrong.
That's the line. We turn inward, and then
Yes.
that starts another downward spiral. Because, how come I don't look like the girl at Woolworths or at the cafe or on Instagram? How come I don't look like my people in my family or my friends? Like, what's wrong with me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm so passionate now about not being negative. I don't want to get into the wrong space and pull people out of their bubble of happiness. Like, that's not what I'm about. Like, I'm not trying to say having a baby isn't a beautiful and miracle and all of those things. It is. But you're not abnormal. You know, there is so many different aspects of normal. And so it's normal to have the baby come out and feel happy and get that rush of hormones and emotions and love your baby. It's equally normal to be shell-shocked and be like, what the heck just happened to me?
Yeah.
And who is this foreign person in my arms?
Yeah.
And, you know, all the different elements are normal. And I just wish people would say that more.
Yeah.
Because if you felt like you weren't alone, the journey would be so much easier. So much easier.
Yeah, so much easier.
Yeah.
I love that. Or there can be many, many different normals. And so for you, well, you might not have realised that at the time though, because you were saying you feel very alone.
Yes.
So here you are with your son. Here you are with your son. How do you start navigating this journey? Because you're the glass half full girl.
I am, yep.
And you're not feeling very glass half full.
No.
So what was there a moment? Was there a decision? Was it just a...
I think the first couple of weeks I really, really did struggle. I didn't know, like, I couldn't draw from my usual, like, I couldn't get my brain to try and do that, right? It's not that they weren't there. It's not that the words of scripture and things that were instilled in me weren't there. I just couldn't access them. For whatever reason, it was just there was a
Probably
blockage. I
exhaustion.
couldn't access them, You know, praise the Lord that I do have a village. You know, I remember you popping in on a horrible day, what felt like a horrible day for me. You know, just bringing a care package. I had my parents actually now live like 45 minutes from me. But I remember one night being so like, I don't know what's wrong with me. Like, not that I don't want to say this wrong because I don't, and I also am mindful that, you know, maybe in 10 years' time my children may watch this and I don't want my son to ever feel like I didn't love him or didn't want him because that's absolutely untrue.
Absolutely not true.
But at the same time, because my brain was not rational, because my hormones weren't rational, I thought something was wrong with me. I was like, I don't know if I love this child enough. I think enough is the word, right? It's not that I don't love him, but I don't know that I love him enough. Like, what's happening to me? And I remember one night being so overwhelmed by that thought that I rang my mum and I'm like in tears. Like, I just don't know. I don't know that I can do this. Like, what am I supposed to do? And so my parents at like 8 p.m. at night drove 45 minutes to my house just to sit there. They didn't do anything. Like, I actually didn't need them to do anything, but they were just there.
Yeah.
And my mum was just there and she was like, you're going to be okay. Like, you will be okay. Maybe not today, but, you know, you will be okay.
As only mums can do.
Yeah, that's right. And,
Just because you become a mum, though, doesn't mean you stop needing your mum.
Yes, absolutely.
Right.
You know, and, you know, for me, how wonderful that I did have my mum that I could call and she could come. And so there was, you know, that was a very specific moment I can recall. But also from then on, I feel that was probably maybe... The nurses were very nice to me, so they let me stay in for like 6 nights, even though I'd had a normal birth and I could have gone home before. So we're maybe like 2 weeks into his life now, right? And I'm having this crisis. So we're 2 weeks down the track. So things then I start to think, okay, like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do to... Because everything felt hard. I would put him down to nap. Like they say, oh, sleep when the baby sleeps, or do the things. Like, you're trying to do all the things that you would still normally do, but you have this child that needs you all the time. Yeah. And so I would put him down, I'd rock him to sleep, and I'd put him in the bassinet, and I would walk away slowly, and I would go to sit down and eat my lunch or something, and I would hear the cry, and I'm like, are you joking? Like, no. This could not possibly be true. Or I'd like try and have a shower and I could hear crying. Sometimes I think that was fake. I don't think it was legitimate crying, but you feel like you hear it, right?
I've heard that.
Yes. And so there's all these things happening and it just, everything felt hard. And so I'm like, okay, I started to set myself little goals. And I think I told this to you, I remember, like in a text message. And it sounds like the dumbest advice ever, right? But I felt like it was so critical for me. Like, just do one thing today.
Yeah.
Like, get up and make the bed.
Yeah.
And if that's the only thing you get done today, like, that's a win. Like, just... Because I know for me, I don't know about other people, but for me, once my bed is made, I actually feel like I've got myself together.
Yeah.
Like,
and you're walking into a nice... Even if it's just... Because when I had my daughter, I just remember describing that newborn stage, that first few months. It's like when you walk through the plane from economy and you go from the back of economy, which when you fly ministry trips all the time, you're usually at the back of economy, and you walk through and then you walk through all of economy and business class and really hate on the business class people because they had a really good flight. But, you know, there's tissues and blankets and pillows and I don't know, cherry ripe wrappers,
Yeah.
and you know what I mean? That's how your room
The
feels
chaos,
like.
yes.
So if you can make your bed and just have one
Yeah.
picture, I remember you saying that, and I remember doing that also. It's just this calming focal point.
Yes, yeah, that's right. And you feel like you've achieved something and you're like,
Yeah.
okay, I'm all right.
Yeah.
And I would put him like on the play mat just outside the bathroom so I could hear him and know if he
Yeah.
was all right. And I would have a shower and I'm like, okay, that's one more thing I've done today. Like, I'm
Yeah.
all right. But
Because essentially what you're doing in this moment is, and when you were saying about the normal, one thing that I reckon helps in life is when you realise, when you transition, because life is a series of transitions, right? You've got to create a new normal.
Yes.
So now this is your new normal.
Yeah.
I have a baby on a playmat while I have a shower.
yeah,
You know, I constantly hear cries.
Yeah.
It's like when you work at KFC, this is an inside joke, and you dream of putting nuggets down.
Yeah.
Like it's...
it's the same. Well, because I would come home from night shift, right, and go to sleep and wake up to the sound of like alarm bells or the IV drip pump alarming. It's clearly not.
It's the same thing.
Same thing, yeah.
So new normal.
New normal. And so, you know, it was just starting to do those little bits and pieces that helped my brain to readjust and to be like, okay, we're going to be okay. We no longer have to defend ourselves anymore. Like, you're okay. It's a new situation.
Yeah.
It's a new normal. We have to, we can adjust. You know, we will and we can. And so then I had to start thinking about, okay, what's the next thing that I need to combat to help me start living life? Because it felt like I was not, like I was getting through life, but I was
were
not
surviving.
living life anymore. Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. And so that's when I was able to start putting into practice those things that I knew were going to help me, like coming back to the word. And so I would read to myself. I was telling Jen before, this passage, I'm not normally a message translation person, but I do like my parallel Bible sometimes to sort of compare and make the language easier. But I would read this particular passage from Jude multiple times through the middle of the night, feeding him, or through the day when I was just struggling. And this part in the message version of Jude, it's probably like verse 2, right? Where it's like, relax. Everything's going to be all right. Rest. Everything's coming together. Open your hearts. Love is on the way. And I would just, for probably a couple of months, I reckon, I would read that same thing. And I was in a point where my daily walk with the Lord was no longer reading a different passage or a different thing and, you know, praying different things every day and having the insight and the ability to do that. But I did have the ability to read this one verse.
Yes.
You know, and just to encourage my soul that everything was going to be all right. You know, love is on the way.
Yeah.
And I would just sit there and read those words, and I just, even just one thing that I could praise God for that I'd done that day or that He'd done for me that day. And just refocus. And it was little by little. Like, it wasn't a time in my life where big sweeping transformation happened. It was the little by little coming back to that same thing every day and believing that God would move and that I was going to be okay and that He was still the same God that saved me, you know, all those years ago, the same God that saw me through all the other difficult situations in my life would still be the same God that would bring me out of this moment, and I would be okay.
So beautiful. That is a beautiful verse. We should put that, Annabelle. And I just want to touch on something you said then, because when we talk about being okay, doing one thing, finding a new normal, I think also too, just to have a tiny little side note, I think sometimes we can overcomplicate our daily walk with the Lord. I remember just a season in my life where I just didn't have the headspace to sit down and read a passage. And so I said to the Lord, I'm just going to read a verse and I'm just going to meditate on that. And that was probably one of the most profound chapters of my life.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I want to encourage the girls that it's not about inhaling huge amounts of Bible verses or doing a 45. There's seasons for that.
Sure.
But when you're in this, find a new normal.
Yeah.
Do something that works for you.
Yeah.
One verse, one word if you have to, but just put encouragement in yourself.
Yeah.
You know, the Bible talks about be transformed by the renewing of your mind in the book of Romans. And that's essentially what you're doing. You're renewing your mind.
Yeah.
Even if it's just one verse that you have to read for, you know, that whole year.
Yeah.
It's renewing your mind. And then it led you, because there's so much power in what you're saying. All of a sudden, you go from the first 2 weeks, I'm ringing my mind, how am I going to do this, to relax. Everything is going to be okay.
Yeah.
Love is on the way.
Yeah.
I am love. I am going to love you through this season. I'm going to love you through, Gemma. And all of a sudden your self-talk, I noticed, turned to, okay, how am I going to do this? Okay, I'm going to make my bed. I'm going to put the baby on the, you know, I'm just going to do it.
Yeah.
You know, and we've often said that in ministry. There's been a look, you know, and that look is like, hell no. What is going on?
Yeah.
I'm not dealing with this. And then one of your OGs, one of your armor bearers comes alongside you and gives you the look. Here we go.
And we're all right. Yeah.
And we're all right.
Yeah.
And somehow, I don't know, we got to the other side.
And I think it's the thing, like, something else that I vividly remember doing, which is, you know, the same sort of concept, right? I remember holding my son, and even though at the time I couldn't comprehend that I loved him or loved him enough, I was like, okay, I'm going to just keep repeating out loud, I love you. I love you, until I believe that that is the truth. And honestly, you know, I have a different relationship, but a great relationship with both of my children. I love them beyond anything you can even express.
So do I.
For many years, actually for a couple of years, many years is probably an exaggeration when they're only 7 and 8, but for a couple of years, I was sure that I had damaged him. Because,
really?
Yeah, I was sure. Because we did go
wow.
through a bit of a hard season a couple of years later. He didn't really want much to do with me. He only wanted Tim. You know, these challenging seasons happen. But I was like, I think I've done something to him, like through this like trauma that I experienced has damaged my relationship with him. But I can tell you now, like on the other side of that, it's absolutely untrue. And, you know, we have a great connection now. You know, he kills me sometimes still too, but as they all do. But I do, like, and I just kept repeating that. And I think that's the same principle, right? If you keep reading the words over and over again, and you keep going back to Jesus, and you say, Lord, I don't know, or whatever it is, whatever season you're in, I don't know how I'm going to get through this. I don't feel like right now this is going to be okay. I don't feel like I know what I'm doing. I don't feel like there's light at the end of the tunnel, or whatever it is. But if you just keep going back and keep showing up and keep reminding yourself and encouraging yourself of the promises that he gives us in his word until you believe them, you know, again, because I feel like I did believe them, like, and I know it to be true. And I still somewhere knew that to be true. But I was just in an incredibly challenging season for myself. And I did believe them, but I didn't believe them for me, maybe.
Yeah,
you know?
and it's So easy to believe it for everything and
Yes.
everyone else, but not for yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow, I really like that. We had a worship leader at Inspiring Hope, and she used to say, you know, at our church, she used to say, sing it till you believe it. And I used to love that line, and she used to repeat it.
Yeah.
Like, sing it till you believe it, you know. And
there's so much power in that.
there is. And I just want to point out, like, why is it that it's so easy to believe the negative about us,
Yes.
but it's so hard to believe the positive?
Yeah.
Oh, you know, I'm this, I'm that, I'm not doing, but then, yeah.
Can I just like ask, sorry, I don't mean to sidetrack the conversation. I'm just curious. And Lisa, I'm like, shout out to you. This is what I'm or anyone else internationally. Is that an Aussie thing? Or is that an everywhere around the world thing?
To be hard on yourself?
Yes, because I feel like, you know, with all our tall poppy syndrome and all of that stuff,
That's
I
a
wonder
good
if that's
question.
an innately Aussie mind frame to not be able to believe in. I don't know. Just curious. Sorry. Side note.
I think that there is the Aussiness that adds to that.
Yeah.
But I think that it is so easy to focus on what we are not and forget who we are.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and that would definitely translate, you know,
Yeah, across the globe.
across the globe,
Yeah.
the globe, and that manifests in different ways. In this circumstance, it manifests in, you know, motherhood.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
so you've been on this big long journey. You're starting to, fight for yourself. You know, fight for your son, fight for your family. How have you stayed? Well, I guess you've kind of answered this, but how sorry, how have you stayed the path with this?
Yeah. I feel like a bit of a broken record.
Why do you stay the path though? Because there are still there are still hard circumstances.
Of course.
And I always, that is always a question. Why? Why do you stay the path?
Yeah. I think in this particular scenario of motherhood, you know, I've got myself to think of course. And like I've said previously, like any journey with Jesus is better. Like having the hope is always going to be better. But now I have this added joy, right, of 2 small children who are just at the beginning of their journey. And they don't really understand what it means to walk with the Lord yet. But they're also the driving force of why I make sure I get up every morning and read my Bible. Make sure that I pray with them every night before they go to bed. Make sure we're listening to worship music. Make sure they go to a Christian school, and I'm not saying everyone needs to do that, but for me, that was really important. Make sure we turn up to church every Sunday at a church that engages them as much as it engages me, right?
Yes.
Like, because I don't want them to get to this point in the journey and not have had the same examples or better examples even than what I had growing up. Because I know that the only reason that I can walk with strength and purpose and hope now is because of where I've come from and because of the, you know, the strong examples of what I had as a child of Christian faith, of showing up, of trusting Jesus. Not just, like for me at the moment, I'm in a really big head knowledge era of my walk with the Lord because I want to understand more how the story happens, right? But that's because I also have had so much heart. Like faith as small as a mustard seed season has been, and it still will always be. But you know what I mean? Like now
Absolutely.
I'm hungry for the knowledge.
Yeah.
But I've seen that. I've seen my dad still now in his 60s going to Bible college because he's still hungry to know more.
Yeah.
You know, I've seen my mum walk through those seasons. I've seen moments in my life. I remember being in high school and like I went to a Christian high school, but I had this girl one day at school say something to me about reincarnation and how she believed that this was just one of many lives. And holy moly, that like shook me to my core because I was so concerned for her. Like I knew it, but I also didn't know that. I didn't know how to explain that answer. And I remember then coming home and just being like, I couldn't sleep that night. Like it affected me so much. And I remember going into my parents' room that night and I just was like, I can't sleep. Like, what's going on? So I explained the story of what had happened. And I remember my dad just without a shadow of a doubt just going to me, sorry guys, I'm not a theologian, so don't remember the reference in my mind, but he just was like, it is appointed unto man once to die, you know, and then the judgment. And then he unpacked that for me. It wasn't just like a one and done, but like, I want that so much for them because I want them to get to their 20s and 30s and not have, like, yes, like we've talked about, we will all have some doubts, but when the doubts come, I want them to be able to look back at the moments and the words and the experiences they've had as a child and for it to be so easy for that to come to the front of their mind, you know. And so, yes, for me, like I want to keep putting one foot after the other, keep following Jesus, keep walking in hope and strength and all of those things because any journey with Jesus is better than any other path you could possibly be on. But now it's also for them.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's beautiful, and that's a good place to end. And you know, I just think of that old hymn. You know, I have decided to follow Jesus. You know, no turning back. And I think that all that you're saying, you know, to articulate it is there's something else that you know, and you know. You look at them as little children, but and we believe all of God's goodness and all of God's love and all of God's freedom and uniqueness and purpose over their lives. But you also know that hard days are coming. And hard days and hard moments are coming. And I just, like you, have so many similar stories. And I just remember my dad when he was in his wheelchair and I was very upset about something, and he just came round, wheeled himself around the squeaky wheelchair, and again, just, you know, when someone cuffs the small of your wrist, it's such a beautiful way to be held in a way. And he just said, Jeanette, will not the God of all the universe do what is right? And in all of the turmoil, you know, and that little circumstance for me as a how old I was, early 20s girl, when he spoke and those words just leapt into the atmosphere, there was a peace that passes all understanding. There was a hope that transcends any circumstance. There was just a love that enveloped me, and I knew, okay, I'm going to be okay. And that is the hope for all our children, and it's why we do what we do, you know. So thank you for sharing. It's motherhood, and especially that inception of becoming a first-time mum is a deeply, deeply personal story. So it was really beautiful. And I just pray that it touches you, that it speaks to you, and that you see the hope of Jesus through Gemma. Excuse my cough. believing Jesus and staying the path. Amen. Bye.
We strive to inspire the hope of Jesus by building girls up generation to generation. Our hope is that you are inspired wherever you are in your walk with the Lord and in your life through this content. For additional information, you can find us at inspiringhope.org.au. We pray that you are blessed and encouraged by the Real and Broad podcast hosted by Jeanette Nolan.